All right, Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. I pray everyone's doing great. Thank you all very much for taking time out. Sorry for the slight delay. We wanted to start 1:30, but we have simultaneous programs going on, so we had to kind of adjust the speakers and all that good stuff. So thank you for your patience. How's everyone doing? Almost midpoint, or sorry, almost 1/3, right? Of Ramadan. That's how fast. Last week we announced it. Now look, subhanAllah. Now thanks his praises to Allah. So thank you all very much for taking time out. We're blessed today. We're going to have a session with our dear Shaykh, Shaykh Jibreel Speight. But before we do that, if it's okay, every week we have people joining us for the first time, and it's really good to just do some introductions. So if I can get everyone's your name, if you reverted to Islam, how long has it been, or if you're just checking things out, that's perfectly fine, and what area you're coming from. And it's Ramadan, so should you want to throw in a little check for $10,000 too, we'll take that as well. May Allah bless you, inshallah. But we'll start right over here with Oliver and Ali, inshallah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ali. I reverted to Islam today. Today's day one for me. This is my son, Oliver, and we're from Anaheim.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is
Alaikum
Luis
salam.
Fernando, and this is my third Ramadan, and I come from Corona.
Inshallah.
Hello, my name is Sergio Rodriguez. I'm from Corona. I reverted on Wednesday. I'm still a little new to this, so pardon me if I don't, have all the antics down yet.
Inshallah. Wednesday.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is
Alaikum
Jose.
salam.
I'm coming from Fontana, and this is my second Ramadan. I reverted July 2024. 23.
Inshallah.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is
Alaikum
Simon. I'm from Anaheim, and this is my first Ramadan. I've been Muslim for 4 months.
Allahu Akbar.
My name is Rolando. I reverted February 2022, and I come from Hawthorne.
All right.
My name is Karaoke. I'm a month old now, convert.
Okay.
Yeah, and I come from Anaheim. First Ramadan.
Alhamdulillah.
Inshallah. My name is Omar from Hawthorne, but now living locally, and it's great to be here with all the Revert brothers, mashallah, brothers and sisters.
My name is Richard. I reverted last July, and I'm here with my son, Richard Jr.
Allahu Akbar.
Hello, my name is Francisco. I reverted 3 years ago, and I come from Compton.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Kamran. I've
Salam.
been Muslim. I'm just curious about this class. I've been doing Ramadan ever since I was around maybe 5th grade.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Hamza.
Alaikum salam.
I come from Placentia.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is
Alaikum
Isaac.
salam.
This is my third Ramadan. Reverted January 2023 over in Chino. And we're here today. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is
Alaikum
Danny. This is
salam.
my second Ramadan, and I became Muslim January 2024.
Everybody isolated Jen. Why you isolated?
Assalamu alaikum. My name is
Alaikum
Jennifer.
salam.
This is my first Ramadan, and I converted 3 months ago, and I live in the area.
Alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alaikum salam.
My
Wa
name is
barakatuh.
Yuki, and this is my fourth Ramadan. I reverted 3 years ago, if you can do the math.
Allahu Akbar.
And I come from across the street.
Alhamdulillah.
Assalamualaikum. My name is
Alaikum
Catherine.
salam.
This is my 7th Ramadan. Alhamdulillah. I've been Muslim for 8 years since last month, and we are from Azusa.
My name is Angie. I reverted last month, and this is my first Ramadan. Oh, and I come from downtown LA.
MashaAllah.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is
Alaikum
Esmeralda,
salam.
and this is my first Ramadan, and I reverted 3 months ago. And I'm from
MashaAllah.
South LA.
Alhamdulillah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marta. I live in Garden Grove. I converted in November, and this one is going to be my first Ramadan.
MashaAllah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sophia. I come from Fullerton and I converted in October of last year. This is going to be my first Ramadan.
MashaAllah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie. I'm from Anaheim, and I'm just here to learn more.
Thank you so much. Did everybody get a chance? Anybody missing? Excellent, perfect. Thank you all very much. And again, it's very important to do introductions so we get to know one another. And then last and certainly not least, our dear Shaykh, Shaykh Jibreel Speight himself. Shaykh Jibreel, of course, embraced Islam as well many, many years ago. He then moved and studied in Mecca, Saudi Arabia, and currently he is the Director of Muslim Life and Educational Chaplain at Chapman University. It's always an honor and privilege to have our Shaykh with us, especially because not only does he have, of course, the academic end down, the ilm, the knowledge, but he also of course, embrace Islam, so he understands many of the struggles that, as a new Muslim community, one might be going through. So, when the question and answer session starts later on at the end of the conversation, feel free to ask any questions that you have. But our Shaykh is going to be on the spiritual journey of Ramadan beyond thirst and hunger. So, Shaykh Jibreel, it's an honor and privilege. Thank you very much for your time, and the floor is all yours.
Bismillah. Can y'all hear me? All right. In the name of Allah, the Lord of mercy, the bestower of mercy, praise and thanks only belong to Him. And may peace and blessings be sent upon the one who has been sent as a mercy to all the creation, our leader and our Prophet Muhammad, and upon his family, his companions, and those that follow them excellently and righteously until the day of recompense. I am not from California. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and I accepted Islam at a historically black university 30 years ago in the month of Ramadan. So that's what you get about me. All right. So I understand everybody in here, with the exception, of course, wearing women garments when they accept Islam. But everything else, got a good idea as to what takes place. For those of you who accepted Islam in Ramadan, like you, my beloved brother, I got some real advice for you, but it'll be at the end, Allah willing, okay? All right. So today I'm supposed to talk to you, well, I chose to talk to you about the spiritual journey of Ramadan. You should know that when it comes to Ramadan, there are two basic things that every Muslim should really try to strive to lock down: the spiritual essence of Ramadan, and then the mechanics, I like to call it, or the ritualistic stuff, the do's and don'ts, basically. And oftentimes you find people focusing on the do's and don'ts, but they don't focus on the spiritual part as well. In essence, it's like two wings of a bird. If you focus on one, you're not going to be guided properly. You might crash. So you got to have both, basically. So today we're going to cover a little bit about the spiritual journey, or some things to consider regarding that. Inshallah ta'ala. Alrighty. So Ramadan is the 9th month of the lunar calendar for the Muslims, and it's the month of spiritual transformation. You know, when you look into a dictionary, like the Oxford Dictionary or the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, or even on Google, if you type a word on the search engine with the question mark, they give you the definition of a word. If you look a little closer, it tells you where the word originally comes from, where the word originally comes from. Ramadan is no exception. It has a particular meaning, and it really should drive home the point of what Ramadan is about. There are several meanings behind the word itself. Before we even talk about anything else, that I hope that you'll take into consideration. It literally means burning heat or scorching. Literally, it means burning heat or scorching. And it was described, the Arabs described that when a person is experiencing intense thirst that they feel right here in their throat, some of you might have gone through that. That's literally Ramadan. That's the burning that you're feeling. All right, that's what you're actually feeling. The name also may have been given because the month, or the command to fast, the month or the fast 29, 30 days occurred during the hot season named, and the Arabs called it Ramadan. From a spiritual standpoint, that's a literal. Metaphorically, you get the idea then the idea of Ramadan is a sort of burning away of something, burning away of sins, burning away of our not so good actions that we have performed by way of increasing gradually our devotion to the eternal creator. Arabic name is Allah, and by doing righteous actions for ourselves and for others. So that's something for you to think about with respect to the meaning of Ramadan. So, based upon it, you can conclude, hopefully, that it is not just simply an abstaining from food and drink. About the word abstaining, technically speaking, scholars define Ramadan as something like this: it is the Muslim abstaining from food, drink, and intimacy, beginning at dawn, ending at sunset. All right, cool. So what's abstaining? Abstaining is a conscious action upholding desire. That's what that means. It is a conscious action to abstain, to hold on to one's desire. That is to say that if you were to let your desires go, ain't no telling what's going to happen. All right. And similarly, that's the idea with regards to Ramadan. Technically speaking, is that there is this action that you and I are constantly thinking about with respect to that, and that leads to other things that we'll cover, hopefully, inshallah, or Allah willing. So it is a time then for spiritual growth and renewal. And this is one of the most important verses you'll find in the second chapter, verse 183, where it mentions that fasting has been made obligatory or prescribed for you, just like those before you. In other words, not just Christians and Jews, but even before them. Prophet Noah, peace and blessings be upon him, was commanded to fast. If you didn't know that, he was commanded to fast as well. And before Prophet Noah came, between him and Adam, peace and blessings be upon the father of all of us, he was also commanded to fast. So this idea of fasting is not just for Muslims and Christians and Jews. No. It goes beyond that. This is something that's been going on since the beginning of humanity being present on the planet Earth. That's how deep this is. So what we're actually doing is we're following a legacy of something that is beneficial for humanity. Okay. Now, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said something amazing that I hope that you will take into consideration. And I will put this in PDF and give it to Jamal to pass on to you, inshallah ta'ala, Allah willing. And when Ramadan comes, the gates of paradise are opened, the gates of hell are closed, and the devils are chained. There are 7 gates to heaven, and there are 7 gates to hell. And the devils are chained. The gates opening, the paradises or the gardens, gates being open, that refers to increasing acts of obedience that necessitate the opening of the gates of paradise when you are held accountable. Hopefully, the idea is like this: you've done so many good deeds, so many good actions while you were alive during the month of Ramadan, that when you stand before Allah on the day of judgment and your whole record is being analyzed, that you've done so much that Allah said, great job, you can go inside now. You can go into the gates of Jannah, of the garden, of the eternal garden. In fact, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, mentioned that there is a special place in the eternal garden. It's called Rayyan, Rayyan, specifically dedicated for those people that do consistent fasting, that do fasting throughout the entire year. And not just abstaining from food and drink, but also being very, very mindful about how they conduct themselves when they fast. It's specifically for them. And only they can go in, not anybody can go into that thing. So that's something for you to think about after you finish fasting the month of Ramadan, to consider continuing having a fasting program after you fast the month of Ramadan. Food for thought, no pun intended. With respect to the, I mean, y'all all right, man. I want to stop tripping. Y'all all right, man. Y'all good, man. With respect to the closing of the gates of hell, this refers to the encouragement of the fasting person to reduce sins that might necessitate that person going to the fire to be purified before they go into the everlasting garden, on the condition that they've testified that Allah is the only one worthy of worship, and that Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, is the final messenger. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing he mentioned is that the devils are chained. The devils are chained. You got to understand something. There are two types of devils: human devils, and then the other devil called the jinn, Jinn. Those are the ones that Allah that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, is talking about. That the ones that we don't see, they're the ones who are being chained up right now. They are the same ones that when they are not chained, they're the ones that encourage us to act foul, to do things that are foul, to speak foul. But they're chained up right now. Now understand something. I said there are two types of devils. I said human and the jinn. I said that to let you know something. Just because they're chained up, that don't mean that you got it easy going on. Nah. Some of us might come across people that act straight up like devils. That is a reality. All right? They are not chained up. They're not chained up. They still around. Another thing to take into consideration about that final sentence is you can't blame nobody for when you do act foul when you fasting during the month of Ramadan. Can't blame nobody. That's on you. All right? You can't say, well, I mean, I felt something. That was that invitation. Nah, the invitation ain't there no more. That's on you. You don't want to get up and pray? That's on you. You understand? You want to talk about somebody? That's on you. All right? Etc. So what we get from this as well, while these are gates of blessings, it's also a reminder to be very careful, to be very, very careful, and understand that this is the time for me to really, really lock in and check myself, that when I conduct myself, when I am going through the pains of hunger and thirst, that I can't blame nobody for my unsavory actions except myself. So personal accountability and responsibility also is implied by this statement from the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. So the purpose of fasting, the ultimate one is, of course, people call it God consciousness. It's more of a thing of piety and being fearful of God. That is the ultimate goal, to raise the bar, of that. And raising the bar of that also means to getting to know God or Allah more. So during the month of Ramadan, this is a golden opportunity, whether you knew or not so new. It is an opportunity to rekindle, reestablish, and establish a healthy relationship with the one that opened up your heart to totally submit to him. This is your opportunity. What? It's buzzing. Okay. Fasting is a shield. Fasting is a shield. As the Prophet Muhammad has mentioned before, peace and blessings be upon him. He said that fasting is a shield. So, a shield from what? Well, first of all, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, mentioned that whoever fasts one day to please Allah, Allah will distance that individual from the fire by 70 years of travel. Again, whoever fasts one day for the pleasure of Allah, seeking to please Allah, then that individual will be distanced from the hellfire by a distance of 70 years. So if you were to take out your calculator right now, we'll make it easy. 30 times 70 is how much? 2,100. 2,100. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? That's a long time, man. All right. So that's just one. So you missed, that's okay though. See, when you accepted Islam, you started clean, man. Brand new, like you a baby. All right. And Islam, babies ain't got no sins. You know what I'm saying? So you started good, bro. Alhamdulillah. Good for you. We praise Allah. So each and every day you think about that. Like, man, yo, I got a brand new slate. And for all of you who have accepted Islam, and this your first Ramadan, between the time you accepted Islam and your first Ramadan, you know, you got some, you probably did some things you shouldn't have been doing. Okay, great. But now you got a great opportunity to do what? To burn those not so good actions. Congratulations. You understand? Congratulations. See, let me tell y'all something. Allah don't want us to be losers. He wants us to be winners. All right? We the ones that be tripping. Anyway. A shield. A shield is useless, however, if we don't know how to use it, though. A shield is a weapon. All right, it's supposed to be protection. But it's useless if you don't know what you're doing with it. And so this is why one of the usages of the fasting is to use it as a means of practicing physical restraint leading to spiritual growth. You see, eating and drinking, the pious people of the past used to talk about this whole idea of mass consumption, if you will, by saying that when a person when a person eats abundantly and their stomach gets full, they get lazy. They get lazy, right? And not only that, they have a tendency to be sloppy and become irresponsible with their speech as well. So they lazy and worshiping Allah, and then they sloppy by saying stuff they ain't got no business saying. And one of the worst things that one of the worst things that a person can ever experience is being thrown into the fire because of this muscle in between our jaws. All right. Indeed, Allah only accepts from those who have taqwa or who have piety and fear of Him. Let's continue about fasting as a shield. Let's expand on that. The messenger, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, mentioned something very important that all of us should take into consideration. Whoever doesn't give up false speech, that means lying and stuff, talking about somebody, etc., and acting upon it, Allah will not reward a person for his leaving his food or drink. You see, here's the deal. Fasting is meant for us. Allah don't need nothing from us. Allah needs nothing from us. We need everything from Allah. So when we are granted this opportunity to fast as a shield, one of the most important things is to guard what we have to say. In essence, I'm sure your grandmothers, your granddaddies, your aunts, your uncles, as somebody said one time to you, you ain't got nothing good to say, to be quiet, boy. That's what said to me when I was a kid. Something similar, I'm sure. Huh? Or girl, to the aunties over here. Huh? And that's true. I mean, it's an old saying, but it's very true. And with fasting, though, it becomes very important. Because if we start saying stuff that we got no business saying, lying, talking about somebody we shouldn't be talking about, spreading rumors, and oh, by the way, that includes also this lovely gadget called the handheld computer called the smartphone. When you start spreading stuff, writing stuff, texting stuff that you haven't really verified, for example, you're not too sure, or you just say stuff or text stuff that you have no business texting, etc., then you fall into the false speech as well. Now you have messed around with the possible full reward of your fasting. That's called, the flip side of that is to practice discipline when we start talking. When we start talking. In other words, think before you talk, especially while you're fasting. The messenger also said, fasting is a shield. When one of you is fasting, he shouldn't use foul language or act foolishly. And if someone fights you or insults you, argues with you, etc., some of you might be going or might be experiencing that or will experience that. Or sometimes you might be working. This is for those who are working, you got jobs, etc., or in the grocery store, or wherever you may be. Somebody acting silly or says something to you that's insulting. You didn't appreciate it. I've already experienced that. Coworker says something I ain't like. It was dumb, straight up ignorant, not ignorant, ignorant. That's another level, okay? Huh? And I said out loud, although this is not what is meant though, but I said it out loud to say, look, I'm fasting. Right? Now it wasn't meant for that person. But when the prophet is saying here is, when something like that happens, say, I'm fasting, say it to yourself that I'm fasting, to remind yourself I'm in a state of fasting. But I said it to that person, just let it be known, listen, I'm fasting right now, and I think I should get away from you right now. All right? I'll see you later. And I went back into my office. Yes, I couldn't stand that person at that moment, so I had to get away. All right? Some of y'all might go through that, man. You say some stuff, you're like, man, I can't believe this person. I gotta go. I'm fasting. I don't want to deal with this right now. I really don't. All right. All right. I got to deal with hunger. My breath stink on top of that. And this person right here. All right, this one right here. Yes. Yeah. Come on now. Yeah, y'all know. Y'all know. Those of you fasting, you understand. It's gonna happen, right? The last thing you need is somebody to say something dumb to you, and you be like, all right, man, you know what I mean? Let me just go over here, man. Let me just go over here. Right? So be careful. Right? Be careful. Be careful and train yourself to remind yourself that I'm fasting. The messenger, we have purification of the soul. So hunger creates spiritual awareness. This is what we're going to drive home to you. And that it is an opportunity to control desires and our passions. Also develops empathy. Who wants to help me with that? What you mean by developing empathy? What that's supposed to mean? Who can help me out with that one? Go ahead, brother. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very good. Trying to understand what other people are not going, what they are going through relative to my condition. Listen, I understand that some of us, maybe many of us, are struggling. I get it. I understand. Okay. And we should acknowledge the fact that we are going through our own struggles. I'm talking about materialistically. Okay. At the same time, we should never forget that there are a whole lot of other people, and we ain't got to go too far. All right, we ain't got to go too far. Anaheim, you see cats out here, unfortunately, homeless. Fullerton, the same thing. Corona, the same thing. All right, we see them all over the place, right? And it's sad to see that a country that claims to have all this abundance, that so many people are suffering. All right. So as far as us fasting and we see something like that, we should be reminded that, okay, I'm going through things, but I'm grateful that I'm not going through that. And the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, has taught us that instead of looking at the people that have more than you, look at the people that have less than you, right? To be reminded of what you do have by the Almighty, the All Giving. We have another one. Less is more. What that's supposed to mean? What that's supposed to mean? Less is more. Less is more. Less is more. Yes. Okay. Very good. Very good. Okay, explain it again. Okay, so going through the struggles that you're going through, you should be appreciative of that. Yes. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's one way of looking at it. Excellent. I like that. Give me another one. Let's go. What you mean, man? I love it. I love it. You got one shirt, take care of that joint. True that. True that. You got 100. You may not even think about the what some of them or one of them. That's beautiful. Another one. Go ahead. Being grateful about what you have. That's wonderful. Folks, let me ask y'all a question. Have you ever taken into consideration why we break our fast with dates and water? For those of you brand new to the scene, it is the prophetic way, the way of following, imitating the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, that we start off with eating dates. 1, 3, 5, 7, an odd number. Okay? And drink some water. Okay? All right. Somebody might say, why you do dates and water? And a lot of times people give their medicinal value. Well, you know, with the dates, it's got fiber, it's got that natural sugar, get the boost, boom, we good to go. And with water, that's purifying. Okay, great. But there's a deeper thing going on here. Eating dates and water teaches you to do what? To be grateful with less. That's the idea of breaking your fast with dates and water, is to teach you to be grateful with less. That part should be emphasized as well. And that's why when we break the fast, and I know this ain't, I'm not criticizing IIOC, this mosque, or any other place with the community potluck iftars. I ain't doing that, so don't take it the wrong way. It's beautiful. I love it. One of the things that I really am concerned about, however, is how sometimes we bring a lot of food and then people put a lot of stuff on their plate. You just broke your fast. Great. Hopefully it's been accepted. But there's a lesson in when you break your fast, is that less is more. So when you get and stand in line, right? When you stand in line and you're looking for that biryani, y'all got biryani? Huh? Every time I say that, but he always said Allahu Akbar. Huh? Every time you have that or whatever that you're gonna have or whatnot, before you put in 3 scoops on your plate, maybe you should just put 2 or even 1 for that matter. In fact, how about you try this one time? Take 1 plate and then share with somebody. How about that? And the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, mentioned that a plate for 1 is sufficient for 2, etc. How about we practice that? What about leftover food? All right, then give it to the people who ain't got no food. Thought about that? You know what I'm saying? Anybody like, why you do that? I mean, because my religion teaches me to do that. And then the next thing you know, they might actually become Muslim afterwards. You never know. Anyway, that's food for thought. Fasting is cleansing of the heart and the mind as well. Cleansing of the heart and the mind. I got 2 brothers or 3 brothers have answered women. Somebody help me out. What that's supposed to mean? Cleansing the heart and mind. Somebody over here. Somebody say something. Nobody? Man, I'm about to. Catherine. Oh, mashallah. Nice. Beautiful. Grudges. Good. Uh-huh. I'm listening. I mean, that was good. That was good. Ooh, nice. Nice. That's nice. What are you intaking as far as your other senses, your sight and your hearing, and how is your mind processing all of that? Because we're hit with so many distractions left, right, and center. So Ramadan is an opportunity to really try to reduce those distractions. It's a great opportunity as well. So I would like to make a public service announcement that if you're going to utilize the internet, and particularly things like YouTube and other things, be very, very mindful as to what you want to consume metaphorically for your mind. This is not the time to be distracted. This is the time to be linked with Allah. This is the time for that. And purify yourself. We have this in the Holy Quran, the 74th chapter, verse number 4. Quality over quantity. Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah, said, and this is a wonderful narration, a wonderful statement that he said, and it should really all of us, whether you've been Muslim for as long as I have or brand new, I want you to I want you to internalize it to the best of your ability. When he said, there are many who fast but gain nothing from their fast except hunger and thirst. There are many who fast and all they get out of it is hunger and thirst. You should understand that, and this is particularly now, I'm going to direct this to the Muslims who are sitting here, born and raised as Muslim. So don't get mad at me. The reality is that that there are some amongst us, unfortunately, born and raised Muslim, and all they do when Ramadan comes is they twist it and turn it as if it's an exercise of hunger and thirst, and that's it. And that's a pretty sad thing. And it's an indictment that they don't really understand what Ramadan, the daytime part I'm talking about, the fasting part, is about. It's not simply about I'm hungry and I'm thirsty. Nah. And that's why, when we talk to our coworkers and everything, right? And they, for example, remember one time I had this discussion with a colleague, and I said, yeah, we don't have any water during the day. What? Any water? No water. I mean, she understood the part that we don't have no food. And she's like, wait, no water? Nah, I can't do that. When I fast, I gotta have water. Okay. The point though is that you see how she looked at it, right? You don't have any water, not even water. That's how some Muslims are, unfortunately. No, the whole idea is that we're leaving off just for 12, 13 hours of the day of food and thirst because number one, I was created. I didn't have to be created in the first place. Number two, as I got older and I had a mind to recognize the natural laws around me, I started recognizing that there's more to life than what I'm doing now. And then after that, I came to the realization that, okay, there's something out there greater that I need to be figuring out, understanding. Oh, that's God. And then after that, what God wants from me? Oh, God wants me to submit. No deities, no other gods, not even my desires. Okay, I'm with that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this way of life called Islam. Islam is a way of life, not a religion. All right? Okay. So all he want me to do, what he told me to do, he told me to fast, to don't eat and drink for 29/30 days, depending upon what goes on. That's it? That's it. So, so you know how we are, some of us, because we always want to, get something. What do I get out of it? You get abundance of good from it. You get the realization of who your Lord really is, and you get true clarity as to what life is about. That's why you don't eat and drink throughout the daylight hours. See, if you understand it like that, then this don't really bother you. This don't mean nothing to you, for real, for real. And the second part, he says, and there are going to be many who pray during the night, but get nothing out of it but staying up, and that's it. So it did nothing to them. Now, I understand that most of us most of us don't understand the Arabic text right now. Fine. But Allah created all languages. You have English, you have Spanish, or any other language that you're able to read. There are 25 different languages the Arabic text has undergone. Whichever one you're most comfortable in reading, you should read it and understand it. So even if you only know the first chapter of the Quran, which is the greatest chapter, by the way, of the Quran, if that's all you know, quote unquote, don't devalue that. That's a huge, huge, huge gift. I'm going to tell you that right now. Your job is to understand it, and your job is to put it into practice. You do that, and you'd be surprised how your life going to change for the better, even when Allah tests you. Trust me. The promise of forgiveness. The promise of forgiveness. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, mentioned of a fast, the month of Ramadan, out of faith. In other words, out of conviction that this is the truth. It ain't just faith. I know people translate as faith. That's the common translation. It's more of a conviction. I know this is the right way. You understand? And the hope a reward, right? So there's knowledge, there's knowledge. See, when a person fasts, they know their Lord. They understand the value of prophets. Peace and blessings be upon them. They understand what true, what the pillars of this faith is, right? And when a person has those things in mind and the hope that Allah is going to give them the reward, guess what? Previous sins forgiven. And whoever stands during the night, same thing. So you got a win-win situation. You fast, you stand in the night. The promise of forgiveness. Keep telling you Islam is dope. Jamal, I keep telling people, I tell people Islam is dope. Don't nobody listen. Y'all better listen, man. Ramadan is your trainer. Ramadan is your trainer. Who go to the gym? Who work out? Everybody work out here? Oh, y'all should be working out, man. Oh, y'all should say, oh, everybody. Come on, y'all. Over here, too. Y'all can walk. Come on, man. Come on, man. Nah, man. I ain't trying to hear that, man. Nah, not since high school shit. Get out of here, man. But y'all should walk, though, man. At the very least, try to walk if you can, you know. Anyway, Ramadan is your trainer, all right? In the sense that it builds spiritual discipline. By building discipline, by consistent practice. Understand the last part. It builds spiritual discipline by way of consistent practice. Consistent practice. That's so important. You see, what I see oftentimes, and I was unfortunately guilty of this as well. When I first accepted Islam, I fasted everything under the sun. I fasted Monday and Thursday. I fasted the three white days or white nights that they call them, 13th, 14th, 15th of the lunar month, right? I try to fast everything. I even try to practice. I try to fast every other day, like Prophet David, right? I try to do all the fasting, man. I try to dive into the Pacific Ocean, and I barely knew how to swim. Right? And then eventually I was like, man, what am I doing? I need to fall back. And then I became inconsistent. This was like my first 3 years as a Muslim, all right? Personal story, okay? Personal story, all right? Try to do everything under the sun, all right? Let me tell y'all something. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that. Start small and work gradually. So you want to create habits. You want to create good habits, consistent habits, not just during Ramadan, but beyond Ramadan, all right? By setting intentions for long-term growth. So if you like fasting, if you like to fast, you enjoy fasting, then consider doing it after Ramadan. If you like doing certain good actions that you've done during Ramadan, consider that being your, let's call it your good deed plan moving forward. Your after Ramadan good deed plan. 1 plan, 2 plans, whatever. Do it, lock in, and do that consistently. And you'd be surprised what kind of good will come to you. But remember something, always seek the help of Allah through patience and prayer. Always seek his help through patience and prayer. You are not going to be successful in Ramadan if you don't ask Allah for his help now. You are not going to be successful moving forward and growing as a better Muslim at the end of Ramadan if you don't ask Allah now for his help. All right, you have to take that into consideration as far as myself as well. I got a double one here. I don't know why I did that. Consistency. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings, was asked the question, which deed is most beloved to Allah? Which deed is most beloved to Allah? All right. And he said, the most regular and constant, even if it's little. You understand? So my advice to all of you is that enjoy this Ramadan and find something that you like to do that's a good deed. And don't worry about how big it is. Worry about, can I do it consistently? That's the question. You want to ask yourself, can I do this thing consistently? If you can, then in the name of Allah, do it. And don't let it go until you die. And then you'll be surprised of the impact, not only for yourself, but other people, as well as when you stand before Allah, how much that will help you when nothing else can help you except for Allah's mercy. Now, some practical steps I want you to think about moving forward is prayer. All right? I want you to focus on your quality of your prayer. The other time I came with coffee with the Shaykh, I was asked a question about praying behind an imam, praying behind an imam for Taraweeh. That's the recommended night prayer after praying the obligatory night prayer, and the imam is on TV or something like that. And I said, no, you can't do that. And then another question was asked regarding something to the effect of praying, a lot of different units of prayer and what have you. I don't think that whether you're new Muslim or not so new, I don't think you should focus on the quantity. I think you should focus on the quality. So if that means that you only pray 2 units of prayer, for example, but you really internalized what you know of the Quran, and if it's only the first chapter, if that's all you can give to Allah, then that's fantastic. All right? That's fantastic. And if you do that consistently, that's wonderful. Don't worry about the next person who said they prayed 20 or 40 or whatever. Don't worry about that. Don't matter. All right? You worry about yourself and the people that are looking up to you. Like you brothers who brought your kids, for example, right? They need to see that from you that, okay, my dad is dead serious. I see him being consistent. I see him, slowly progressing. Let me try to imitate that. I'm telling you, that will hopefully be a wonderful stamp on your children when they see that. That's just food for thought. Again, no pun intended. Quran. I would like for you also to take some time out to read a little bit per day of the Holy Quran. And I would also encourage you, if you can, take a small little notebook. You ain't got to take something big. Take a little notebook or take your notes from here, whatever the case may be. And I want you to think about something. Central question would be something like this. What is the message Allah is telling me? What is the message Allah is telling me? All right? So when you read, whether it be in Spanish or English, or if you know the Arabic, then you should ask that question. Central question. What is the message Allah is trying to tell me? Number one. Number two, how can I practice it? How can I practice it? Number two, how can I practice it? Okay. And number three, how can I invite others via these verses? How can I invite others via these verses? All right. 3 questions I want you to think about. Y'all wrote the questions down? Who wrote the questions down? What the questions, yo? Over here, sister. What's your name again? Jennifer? Jennifer. Yep. Very good. Very good. Excellent. Excellent. That's good. Someone like her should take my intro to Islam class. She'll get an A+. Yes. She takes good notes, mashallah. Unlike a lot of the students today, they don't. I'm digressing. I'm sorry. Number 3, charity. Be generous. Now, let me talk about charity for a minute. There's financial charity, and then there are, I would call, skill charity. There's financial charity, and then there's skill charity. Financial charity is just that. Can you give a little something this month to something that resonates with you? Okay, give it. All right. It doesn't have to be international. It could be national. It could be local. Think about what you can consider giving. All right. No matter how much it is. But then there's a skill charity as well. A skill charity. I talked about this in my recent khutbah or sermon this past Friday about the need for us Muslims to be generous with the skills that Allah has blessed us with. So what are the skills that we have that we can give to not only the Muslim community, but also to humanity? What is it that we can give? All of us have a skill. What is our skill or skills that we can give, right? And that's something to think about. If you have them, if you don't know if you haven't pinpointed them yet, this is a great opportunity now to start thinking about that. So maybe down the road you can give something. Self-reflection. Think about holding yourself accountable for your actions, including today. Excuse me. Self-accountability is so important. It is very important for you to spend the time. I know we're all busy. We have different things going on in our lives. I understand that. I get it. I really do. But it is important. You don't want to let, I'm not, and now I'm going to talk to my brothers and sisters who first time being Muslim in Ramadan. You do not want a Ramadan, you don't want this Ramadan to go by and you haven't taken time out to reflect upon who you were, where you are, and where you're trying to be. I'll say it again. You do not want this Ramadan to go by where you have not taken time out to look at yourself and ask where you were, where you are, and where you're trying to be. Okay? That's so important. That is very important. And that's part of the reflection, the self-reflection and accountability that I hope all of us would have. All right? Those who've been born and raised Muslim, those who've been Muslim for a long time, like yours truly and whatnot, where you were, where you are, where you trying to be. And one final question, why are you trying to be where you want to go? Those are important questions. And those are very important. So throughout the course of the rigors of the day, and you're going through your X, Y's, and Z's that you're going through, and this, that, and the third, right? Think about this. Starting today. If you're driving, going back to Hawthorne, for example, or wherever you're going, right? Think about that. Think about that for a little while. And if you want to expand on that, write it out. All right? And make supplication. You must make supplication. This is a golden opportunity while you're fasting and even during the nighttime to ask Allah. The supplication during the daytime is a moment of time from dawn until sunset. That whole time period, 12 and a half hours now, or something of that nature, almost 13 hours now that we're now going to be experiencing. Somewhere in there, you should raise your hands and ask Allah. Ask Allah. Why? Because the supplication of someone fasting is never rejected. However, there are conditions. Condition one, it cannot be impermissible. So you can't ask Allah for something that's impermissible. That's not going to be answered. And number two, it can't be a request from Allah wherein it's going to sever or cut off your family ties with people. You can't do that. All right? Even if they're non-Muslim? Yeah, even if they're non-Muslim. They get on my nerves. Okay. We got somebody in that family. You don't want to see them, your cousin, your uncle, your aunt, sometimes parents too. Understand, we get that, right? We understand that. But when you ask Allah, make sure what you ask Allah is something that maybe might actually bring about better relations with your family, not cause further tension in the family. Food for thought. Again, I keep saying that, huh? Third time I said that, huh? I got 5 minutes? Okay, cool. Thank you. So seize the opportunity. I like to call this narration the 5 by 5. The 5 by 5. I call this narration the 5 by 5. Take advantage of 5 before 5. Your youth before your old age. Your health before your sickness. Your wealth before your poverty. Your free time before you become busy. Your free time before you become busy, and your life before your death. 5 by 5. Youth before old age, excuse me. Health before sickness. Wealth before poverty. Free time before becoming busy, and your life before your death. Take advantage of this. So seize the opportunity now to make a concerted effort, an intentional effort to change yourselves in the month of Ramadan. And dear new Muslim, I have final words for you is remember, spiritual growth is gradual. It is a marathon, not a sprint. That sounds like a cliche, but it's very true. You should remember that perfection is only with Allah. All right? You're going to make mistakes. Get over it. All right? Deal with it. You'll be fine. Okay? And then figure out, okay, I made the mistake, learn from the mistake, and then don't do it again, Allah willing. Focus on your progress and not some sort of perfection. That's not possible. Progression is what you want. You don't want to regress. If that happens, now you're in the danger zone. And you want to connect with supportive community members. You want to connect with supportive community members. Shameless plug for this program. Even after you graduate from the New Muslim program, and I don't know if people, is this online? All y'all cats online. Assalamu alaikum. Alaikum salam. Listen, let me tell y'all something. All y'all are online right now. You're brand new, good. You ain't brand new, let me tell you something. You need to connect with your community. So when you have programs like this that are trying to put in the investment for y'all, then even after you graduate from the New Muslim program, I'm talking to y'all too. Y'all got your certificates or New Muslim program, got the stole and everything. Yeah, Allah Akbar. I'm happy for y'all and everything. Where you at after that? Y'all need to still stay connected. All right. Y'all still got a long way to go. I still got a long way to go. I've been Muslim for 30 years. Ask questions, man. All right. Always ask questions. Ask people that are qualified your questions. Don't be shy to ask your questions, all right? Because their job, who have dedicated themselves to Islamic scholarship, is to help you be a better Muslim by the help of Allah. So we ask Allah to accept your fasting, your prayers, and all your good deeds. Ameen.
I mean, it was right on time, Sheikh Jibreel. Allah bless you. Let's get a loud Allahu Akbar on three if it's okay. 1, 2, 3. Allahu Akbar. You must be fasting, huh? We can do a little bit louder if it's okay. On three. 1, 2, 3. Allahu Akbar. Very good. Allah bless you all. Sheikh Jibreel, Speight, as always, thank you very much, my dear Sheikh. May Allah reward you and bless you. Did you like the stole?
Yeah, it was nice,
That was
man.
nice, right?
Mashallah. Thank you.
So what Sheikh Jibreel was talking about was we have a new Muslim mentorship program. So for us, it's not just a shahada, it's the shahada and then afterwards. That's where our program kicks in. The shahada is the easy part. That's hard. But the hard part is the day after, if you will, and to follow up and to be upon the faith and so forth, right? And that's where our humble program, by Allah's permission, tries to come in and help. So for those of you, if you're not familiar, and I'm going to get you, I promise you, Sister Carla, inshallah. But those that are not familiar, we have a mentorship program. What that is that we have trained mentors in the community, and they will work with you one-on-one, of course, brothers with brothers and sisters with sisters, based on a very nice and simple curriculum that we have to go over the basics of prayer and wudu and so forth, right? So if you are interested in that, just go ahead and send me a message just so I can get that started. Some of the mentors are actually here on site. Some of the mentees are here. Mentees meaning our brothers and sisters that are new to Islam as well. But let's go ahead and open it up for questions. So if any questions related to the topic, Ramadan, outside Ramadan, now is a really good time to ask. And of course, Sheikh Jibreel, I'm sure, is very happy and honored to answer those questions, specifically for those that might be going into their first Ramadan as well, but open for everyone. Who wants to start it off for us?
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Going back to the less is more idea, I also kind of thought about like less sleep because we're sleeping less during this time of the year. And that feel like that being a sacrifice. Like, I mean, I think we all love to sleep. So like that is kind of like sacrificing sleep in order to be with Allah during the times that he's closer in the heavens, I guess. But I do also want to like reflect back on the like less food as well. This year I made a goal to like make lighter meals, I guess. And I will say it is very beneficial. Having a lighter meal has allowed me to not feel so sluggish or groggy after breaking my fast. And so it's kind of allowed me to be able to like the quality of my worship has increased because I'm having lighter meals.
Mm.
And so that's definitely helped a lot. The question I do have though is a few weeks ago there was a sheikh who came and told me that after being Muslim for so many years, that in order to kind of start growing more, I should start to think about sacrifices that I can make to become closer to Allah. Do you have any like, because I'm not really sure what to sacrifice. I mean, I thought sleep because my husband says I sleep a lot. So so I thought, okay, well, I could like cut back on like sleeping. But other than that, I'm kind of struggling with figuring out like what like practical sacrifices I can make on a day-to-day basis, I guess, to
Yeah.
grow more.
Mm-hmm. All right. First, with respect to the sleep, um, I think that part of a successful fast is that a person, of course, from a physical standpoint, should make sure that they drink enough water for their pre-dawn meal, and that they do get rest, even if it's a light nap throughout the course of the day. And of course, throughout the evening, there's nothing wrong with a person getting sleep. Um, and people have to be honest with themselves. For instance, I use kind of get an idea about sleeping. Um, Sleepy Time. It's a website, and if you type in Sleepy SLEEPYTI.me, huh? And then you can calculate, um, you know, the sleeps. It'll tell you the sleep cycles. It explains all of that, etc. So my first thing is that I think people should pay more attention to their sleep cycle. All right, if you want to get up, if Fajr of dawn comes in at 6 a.m. and you have to have a pre-dawn meal, um, and you want to practice the prophetic way of delaying your pre-dawn meal to as close as dawn as possible, what does that look like? For me, it's like a half an hour. So that means that my food is ready to go probably about a half an hour before that, or 45 minutes. And then I want to pray a little bit as well. Okay, so I gotta get up a little early with that as well. So you consider all of those things and be pragmatic from that standpoint. As far as your sacrifice, to be frank with you, I can't tell you exactly what you should be sacrificing. And um I don't I don't I would say this. I think respectfully that that particular sheikh um should have had a conversation with you to really understand what your life looked like, to say, oh, okay, consider this, and consider that. And it's very easy to say sacrifice, or you want to be, you take it to another level, then you need to, or consider sacrificing X, Y, and Z without really knowing what your life really looks like. Everybody's life consists of the following things: economic, social, intellectual, intellectual, religious, and physical. Okay. Those are the things that we all have as far as our lives. And so the question at hand is, what are those things within those five spheres that require sacrifice? And to be clear about something, the word sacrifice doesn't mean necessarily, it doesn't mean discontinuing, but it can also mean discontinuing with the intention of replacing with something better. For instance, maybe you're in debt, for example. As an example, I don't know. I'm just giving an example. Let's say you're in financial debt right now. Okay. So one of your most important sacrifices is to get out of debt. Okay. And figuring out ways to little by little get rid of that debt. Um, Avoiding as much usurious, or those transactions that have a situation where um, excessive or exorbitant amounts of money is being made off of you for nothing. for example. That might mean, okay, no more credit cards. I don't know. I can't tell you all that. So that requires you to have a conversation, and you are married. So that means also talking to your husband as well about this issue or these issues as to, okay, what could we slowly do? All right, what is that we can realistically do? And seeking Allah's help in all that. And Allah knows best.
Thank you, Shaykh.
You're welcome.
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So, I know you talked about this month is the month where we withhold negative actions and we're more precautious about our actions and the things that we say. And also, it ties with, I wanted to tie it with when you said cleansing the heart and the mind. So, I know we are tested, whether that be at our job, with our coworkers, and we're human, so we have the instinct to react. And but I think what I would say personally gets to me the most would be when it comes from the people that you love. And as a revert, I think I want to speak for myself, but I would like to speak for others. Everyone's journey is different, especially because I am the first Muslim in my family. And I'm sorry, I just get a little emotional, but so this month I decided to visit my mother more often, and there was a moment where she reacted, and I told her, "Mom, I'm fasting," and she went on. So I grew up in a toxic household, and many of us maybe. So I would ask for your advice, because at the same time I want to cleanse my heart, and after that discussion we had, I went straight to Tarawih prayer, and it was super emotional. It got to me. So I want to ask for your advice as for us reverts. How can we handle this situation, especially during the month of Ramadan?
Well, I appreciate you asking the question, number one. And we ask Allah right now to help you with your mother. And may Allah make your relationship between you and your mother a healthier one. Ameen. That's the first thing we're going to say. And let's just be honest, all right? It's not easy when you are the only one who has decided to do something life changing. Right? This is literally a life changing thing, right? And there's a lot of challenges that you're going to experience with respect to your relationship with your mother. May I suggest that you, as we mentioned in the lecture, number one, you have to pray. I repeat, you have to pray. You have to pray. Number two, you have to trust Allah. You got to trust Allah that ultimately, things will get better. It will not happen. It may not happen instantaneously, but you got to trust Allah. Now, after you have made your supplication and after you have trusted Allah, within your supplication, you should ask Allah to grant you wisdom as to how you can navigate dealing with your mom. Question I want to ask you. Historically speaking, how was you and your mother's relationship?
How was our relationship?
Yeah. Before you were Muslim, how was your relation with your mother?
It was already difficult.
Okay.
She's an older woman, so I came to terms to understand because of her age and the age that she had me. So she's 66, so she's getting up there. So I ask of Allah for patience, and He has given me that patience with her, where I've come to forgive her for a lot of stuff that we went throughout our life.
That's
So,
beautiful. I mean, that in it by itself is a beautiful thing that you've done. May Allah bless you and reward you. At the same time, I need to encourage you to take care of yourself as well. you got to take care of yourself as well. Thus, you know your mother pretty well, I'm assuming. Um, it might be time to reevaluate when are strategic times to see your mother and the length of time when you visit your mother. Huh? All right. I also want you to think about yourself with respect to the following. What sort of what sort of actions can you do to hopefully weaken the tension that exists between you and your mother without sacrificing your Islamic identity in the process? What would that look like? And what difference would that make for you if you did that? So I'm not going to tell you continue to see your mom and this, that, and the third. It's an obligation and this. No, I'm going to tell you, listen, accompanying your parents in a difficult situation prior to you being Muslim requires wisdom. And that requires a balance of taking care of yourself without you wronging yourself and also wronging her because you wronged yourself. And at the same time, thinking about when and how long I could be around her to have something of an amicable, decent relationship. Now, I can't speak to all those details. You can. You know that better than me. Okay, so I hope that gives you something to think about as you move forward. Once again, I'm very sorry that you've gone through this, but I must praise you. I must praise Allah first and then you, because of the fact that despite this, despite these challenges that you've had with your mom, yet and still you went right to Taraweeh. Allahu Akbar. That's beautiful. And that says a lot about you and how you look at Allah and your relation with Allah. Don't sleep on that. Don't sleep on that. That should tell you something. That's a whole lot right there. That's success that Allah gave you when you did that. So may Allah bless you and continue to keep you strong. Ameen.
Thank you, Shaykh.
Thank you so much for sharing. We appreciate it. Remember, again, one of the reasons for these classes are not just to learn, of course, but to be as a family together, right? Particularly if you're the only Muslim in your household, this is a way for us to connect together as well. Francisco.
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you. So, with that concept of less is more, I also feel that it's very beneficial for all of us that to also say less is more.
Mm.
And just small reasons why is because, like for me, Islam means peace, and that's the way I should be to spread it.
Mm.
And like a lot of people are not that way, so
Mm.
they'll come at you projecting what they're feeling.
Mm.
But if you give them some peace, that's going to make them feel a lot better and give them clarity.
Mm.
And yeah, so say less is more. It's very generous for the people you're speaking to, because you get to think about what you're going to say and say it in the most simple way instead of taking up 20 minutes of their time just to get to one point.
Yes.
So that's it. I just wanted to share that, and if there's anything you would like to add, please do.
Well, it goes back to also, thank you. It goes back to something that was mentioned earlier, which is that fasting is a shield. And if someone insults you or speaks ill to you, that you say that I am a fasting person. Part of that also is just that instead of, or rather, you find people sometimes saying things that are not necessary, but that doesn't mean that you have to add to the unnecessary as well. So that's good. I think that's a very good reflection. Thank you.
Sheikh, a question we have is, of course, we're approaching the midpoint of Ramadan. May Allah give us life. Sometimes For some people, this is kind of like they fall into some type of a slump. They started very fast and then they start to dip a little bit. Any advice? And I know you already touched on it, but any advice, particularly now for the midpoint of Ramadan up until the last 10 days, just so that we have the momentum.
I think part of the problem or challenge is, the people that grab the mic and start talking about Ramadan and encouraging people to do all kind of good deeds, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think sometimes there is a forgetfulness to encourage people, generally speaking, start small and build. Start small and build. We have a tendency to be grandiose in what we say, and then we expect everybody to get up there, where you at. Nah, man. It shouldn't work like that. It should be the opposite, which is start small and slowly build until you get to the last 10. And that's when you start really, again, you're still building some more. Um, so those of us that might hit a valley, you're excited about Ramadan. Happens all the time. I mean, I came across a student recently, born and raised Muslim, first time, his first time actually fasting the month of Ramadan. I want you to understand, he was born and raised Muslim, and he tells me this is going to be my first time doing Ramadan. And a part of me was like, bruh, are you serious? How long you been Muslim? But the other part of me was like, okay, I'm happy for him because he was crying, he was emotional about it. So I was happy that he's trying to be a Muslim and not just by name. And he asked me for advice. I said, man, listen, I appreciate your enthusiasm. I think it's amazing. I'd like for you to put it in a bottle, right? And don't let it all out all at once because you're going to hit a wall. Okay. And I see this going on with some of our brothers and sisters who are brand new to Ramadan as well. There's excitement, anticipation, maybe some, how's it going to be, etc. I think what you should do is just enjoy the journey, man. That's what you ought to be doing right now, whether it be in the middle, or the beginning, or the end. It's a journey. You need to enjoy the journey. That's what you're doing. It is a journey. All right. Just enjoy it and take every day for what it is. A day. Might be a last day. You don't know. Regardless, enjoy the moment. That's what you do. Just enjoy it. If you do that, then you won't be worried about some lag and some valley and hitting a wall and this, that, and the third. And Allah knows best.
Beautiful. Thank you, Sheikh. I appreciate it.
Alhamdulillah.
Any last minute questions, comments, advice, mentorship? Yeah, inshallah. Sergio.
Hello, sir. I had one question in regards to prayer. So you mentioned quality over quantity, and I was wondering. So I'm a revert. I just reverted on Wednesday, and I was wondering. So, when someone is participating in prayer, do you think it's permissible to not participate and rather watch just because like, for example, like me, I don't understand Arabic, and it's more of like mindlessly following prayer. I feel like I get more quality of it when I'm doing it on my own because I'm able to understand the language. I use my phone and an app that actually my friend Luis over here showed me. I was wondering if that was okay, or would you recommend to put into practice at least the momentum of it?
I think there's something here that's important, brother. It's always important to ultimately you're going to have to learn what to say in the prayer. Ultimately, you're going to have to learn what is said in the prayer. You have a mentor right now?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, beautiful. I'm happy for you. Alhamdulillah. All right. How about we combine the best of everything? Meaning that, yes, pray by yourself, and then sometimes pray with the people that know what to pray. And then There's a stipulation. You got to ask them, what do those things mean? Right? You got to ask them, what do those things mean? And what are the deeper, what deeper insight can I get from it? You understand?
Yes, sir.
You do that, and then when you develop with the help of Allah, when you develop and you pray and you understand what what the first chapter is in the Quran, particularly in the Arabic, and you can, and by the way, you can do it, okay? You can do it. You will appreciate it more.
Yes, sir.
So I don't think one or the other. I think try to combine and
sir.
see and let that be your program. And Allah knows best.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome. I think this brother right here.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Firstly, I just want to give you, Shaykh and Jamal, a huge thanks for bringing us all together. There's nothing more I love than being in a room full of reverts. SubhanAllah. My question to you is, you mentioned when you first started, you did it. It was like overwhelming. SubhanAllah. I feel like a lot of us could, connect with that because it's my third Ramadan and I'm getting understanding, what you had mentioned, learning to love the process. And my question is, how many, if you don't mind me sharing, how many years did it take for you to mashallah, you're a sheikh, you went to school for, for many years, I'm guessing. If you don't mind sharing, how long did it take for you to get to that point? And the second question is, what's the best form of dawah that, I always ask this question, for my family. What's the best form of dawah besides action and, changing your character? Am I able to make a dua to Allah for them, for Allah to open their hearts? Jazakallah khair.
Yuck. All right. First, thank you for thanking me and Brother Jamal. Let me answer the last question first. You ever heard of a companion named Abu Huraira?
Maybe.
Okay. There was a companion named Abu Huraira. May Allah be pleased with him. So one day he went to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. This is when the Prophet was sitting by the Kaaba, the cube. And he complained to the Prophet. He said, look, my mother, she's real tough about Islam and she insults you and this, that, and the third. And, it really bothers me. So the Prophet made supplication. Oh, Allah guide Abu Huraira's mother. So he goes back, Abu Huraira goes back, and he hears some water splashing. That's because she was taking a bath to declare her testimony of faith. So the point being is that everybody in this room should be praying to Allah to guide our non-Muslim family members. Sister, I know you have, as I mentioned earlier, she has historical tension with her mother. You should pray for your mother. For those of you that got issues with your dad and your mom and your brothers and your sisters and your aunts and your uncles and your cousins and this, that, and the third, I'm telling you right now, you need to pray for them. At nighttime, you get up, or you got the energy to pray at nighttime. When you got your face on the ground, you need to ask Allah, Allah guide so and so to Islam. All right. Now, in your supplication, you should also ask Allah to grant you the ability to articulate how to talk to your family about Islam. Okay? It's not a thing of, this the Quran, that's the Bible, the Bible's whack. That is not how you're going to do that. Okay? They'll tell you, you better get out my blankly blank house right now. Okay? All right? Nah. Just have a conversation with them. I think one way of doing that, let me tell you a story. Well, here's a story. One time I was visiting my mother. I came back from Mecca. It was in summertime. I was visiting my mom. May Allah got to Islam. I mean, so she was telling me, yeah, you know, their plumbing system was all messed up and everything was atrocious. I said, you know, okay. So, and the plumber was doing consistent work to improve the plumbing system. And somehow, before I got there, I was talked about. You know, yeah, my son is coming by to visit me. He lives in Mecca. Where's that? Oh, it's in Saudi Arabia. Oh, okay, really? All right, interesting. So cool. I went to see my mom. I didn't want to talk to nobody. So you know, I get all dressed and everything, you know, like I normally do. And my mom said, yeah, you know, later on, so and so's coming. We got a plumber coming by, you know, and you know, like to talk to you. In the back of my head, I'm going, I don't want to talk to nobody. I just want to eat. I want to eat your cooking, and I just want. That's all I want to do. I don't want to do nothing else. So, anyways, so the plumber comes, does his work, right? And I'm sitting there drinking some tea. Yeah, drinking some tea. And my mom's in the kitchen. It's an open kitchen, so she's washing dishes, right? And he asked me, "Why are you in Mecca?" Right? So that was my opportunity to give him, and by extension, my mother, a reintroduction as to why I became Muslim. Okay. So I broke down how I felt how I thought my life was, and you know, this, that, and the third, religiously and whatever. And my mother, she was washing dishes, but then I heard the water stop, and she was listening. She was listening while I was telling them about my story. So anyway, I told my whole story. Well, to the best of my ability, I didn't really go too much in depth, but I gave them a good idea as to why I was Muslim and why I chose to study abroad, which will go to your final question. Anyways, so when I gave that story, later on, my mother said it was as if I heard that story for the first time in my life. I never heard that story before. So maybe what you could do, right, is have a story about who you were and why you chose Islam. Not in a belligerent way, not in a tough way, but in a way where they're hearing, oh, okay, this is why you became Muslim. Not only they're going to accept Islam, but at least now they understand why you chose this way of life, right? And you might have to say it more than once on different occasions. That's okay too, all right? But give them a story. People love stories. So let them hear your story. What's your story? You know what I'm saying? Final question. How did I become a sheikh? How did I become a sheikh? All right. Remember I told you about them first 3 years? So my name was Jibreel, and I didn't eat pork, but I prayed and I fasted. That was pretty much it. That was it for me, right? I didn't know much about Islam. Very little, as a matter of fact. And then as I was about to relocate, I don't know what it was that I was in North Carolina at the time, and I went down to Georgia to visit some people, and they exposed me to some books. I said, "Oh, wow!" You know, I was intrigued by the books, fascinated. You know, I read some of them, thought they were pretty cool. You know, they didn't really impact me. Then I relocated, got a job. You know, you in college you got a job, but then when you graduate, you got a job. So I got a job. So I got my job, my first job. And I relocated to Massachusetts. Okay, Massachusetts. Worked for AT&T, not this AT&T, the old AT&T. You know, like you know, Southwestern Bell, the Bell companies and stuff like that. Y'all too young, man. I'm speaking my age now. So anyway, right. And the brother that helped me get the job, may Allah reward him, he was telling me, yeah, man, you know, over at MIT, there's there are classes over there if you're interested in going. I said, I bet. It's on the weekend. So I drive down. I live close to New Hampshire. I had to go down south to the Boston area. New Hampshire is that area up there, live free or die. Anyway, so I'm driving down, go through the traffic, get by MIT, and I see this brother, mashallah. Man, this dude was thorough. We went through faith, right? I mean, he had a binder. He had a big old 3-ring binder, handouts, evidences, logical stuff, this, that, and the third. I was like, oh my goodness, this boy bad. so that was the seed right there that made me want to study more. So that same day I go back up, right? And the brother called me that told me about the class. I said, what you think? I said, man, that was hype, man. I love that. I was really like I was like, wow, this is amazing, right? Oops. And then and then that was when I started to really start to dig in to learn more. And parallel to that, I noticed something. I noticed that some Muslims, not all, some Muslims, man, they be saying stuff, man, it ain't right. Another thing that this is your first time seeing me. Some of y'all have heard me say this, that sometimes our brothers and sisters have been Muslim for forever. Alhamdulillah, may Allah bless y'all. Y'all got a tendency to say stuff to be misguiding new Muslims. Flat out wrong. Where you get it from? You got it from Arab culture, you got it from Pakistani culture, Indian culture, African culture. That ain't right. So that was the other thing too, was that I started to recognize that, people be saying stuff, man, that's just flat out wrong. It ain't right. It's permissible, but you say it's impermissible based upon what? You know what I'm saying? So all of that generated a thirst for me to learn more. Plus, I was already a geek and a nerd anyway. So so that helped as well. So I had the student genes, if you will, to want to learn and read anyway. And then it just little by little, next thing I know, man, I started memorizing Quran, and next thing I know, I'm giving small little talks after the night prayer, and I started giving sermons. And back then, when I was a lot younger, none of my sermons were written. I memorized all of them. So I would stand in front of them and just give my sermons as is, right? So I would say that I would memorize. It was interesting. I have my pen and I would write out the Arabic, right? And then, because a brother had taught me how to write Arabic. So I wrote out the Arabic, then I write the English, memorize it, and then, extract lessons from it and go from there. And then next thing I know, I relocate to the DC area. And I went to an institute there, but I went part-time. But another institute that I went to, it was for memorization of the Quran. I memorized most of the Quran, and then I applied to study at Qura in Mecca because I exhausted what I could get in America. So that opened up the door for me to study. And it was interesting because while I was in Boston, there was some Saudi brothers, right? And I happened to, they were studying dentistry and other medicines and everything. When I was in Mecca, one of them came down to Mecca to visit me after he went did his worship there in the sacred mosque. So we eating dinner, and he said to me, "Remember back in Boston, you said we need American scholars?" I said, "Think about it for a minute." I said, "Yeah, I did say that." Then he looked at me for a long time. Like, look at you. So I didn't realize at the time, but I guess that's what I was doing. So that's a summary of how I became a sheikh, I guess you can say. Desire and people plugging me in to want to learn, and not, excuse me for saying this, not bull crapping when it comes to learning. All right. I mean, I'm taking this on dead serious. I take this joint real serious. That's probably a trial that I have. So I don't like when people say stuff and it ain't right. They ain't got no Quran behind it. There ain't no prophetic statement behind it. It's just how you feel. We got a problem. So I hope that answers your question. May Allah bless you.
All right, we'll call it a session there for Sugay. If it's okay, Shaykh Jibreel Speight, thank you so much. May
Alhamdulillah.
Allah reward you and
Thank
bless
you.
you as always,
You
man.
too.
Always a privilege and honor to have you with us. And if it's okay, after some of
Likewise.
the announcements, if you can close us with dua, since most of us are fasting, we would really
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Sure.
For the brothers and sisters here, thank you all very much for attending. Again, these sessions, we're going to continue through Ramadan, as we said before Ramadan. The Friday, as you guys know, is our open QA session called Coffee with the Shaykh. Literally, it's just firing away questions. And remember that timing has changed from 1 hour before Maghrib, before sunset, till Maghrib. So we adjusted it so that we can all break bread together, as well as, fast breaking meals, iftar here at IFC every night. So please take advantage of that as well. And the Sunday classes continue as well. The Asr prayer, the number 3 prayer, has been delayed, as you know, with the time change till 4:30. So we still have some time for that as well. Number 3, it's just been about 1 week. 1 week this place, and we're blessed with everybody here. But last week this place was packed out. So much so we were into the lobby. We had fast with the Muslim,
Allah.
right? And this was the event that was catered toward our Dawah event, which was catered towards non-Muslims or people of other faiths to introduce Islam and Ramadan to them, right? So we had everyone did their part, alhamdulillah. So I just want to say thank you very much. We had close to 300 people, some with another count over 300 people
MashaAllah.
that came with our volunteers, of course, our guests and community members that joined them as well. So may Allah bless each and every one of you. It was an amazing event, a great response that we got. And it's all from the permission of Allah. But again, we had the day, Sheikh, 60 plus volunteers helping.
Allah Akbar.
Over 60 volunteers helping.
May Allah bless them. May Allah reward them.
I mean, and so again, when that plug goes out to volunteer, and some of you actually are here that are volunteering, please make sure to take up on that volunteer request, because we can use all the help we can get. And then it was beautiful right at the end of the event, right where Ali is, actually right in this area. We had a young sister. She also embraced Islam at the end, which is she contacted us the day before. And then she's like, I'm really interested in Islam. So I said, come to the event. And it was really nice, literally right in this area. And then she came for the first time for class this past Friday as well. That was our sister Daisy. So may Allah reward her and bless her. But thank you all very much. I just wanted to appreciate everyone for helping out. 2 things, Ramadan planners and Ramadan gift boxes. For those of you, if you're not familiar with it, we have these very nice Ramadan planners, daily, day 1, day 2, day 3, specifically for a new Muslim, because it's a good way to track your progress and the supplications that you can make. We have the transliteration just to help out, just to kind of get it started. And again, one of the things I hear, and I mentioned this a lot, when somebody embraces Islam and 5 or 10, 20 years later, they say, I think my Ramadan was like this. I think my first one was like that. Rather, you can just document and have everything saved, right? So we have them over there. We are selling them for $10. And the reason for that is, of course, all the proceeds for that goes back into your Dawah New Muslim program. So please, if you haven't as of yet purchased it, on the way out, please see Sister Sumaya Maimuna. You can purchase that. And number 2, the other things we have are Ramadan gift boxes. Again, another Dawah opportunity. What we're hoping to do is to introduce Islam to our neighbors, our co-workers, our family and friends, etc. Right? So we made these really nice gift boxes right over there, and we're selling them for $4. Again, all those proceeds go back to your New Muslim and Dawah program. So please, again, if you haven't purchased some, please make sure to do so. It's a great way to introduce Islam to someone in a very gentle and loving way as well. Also, I know there was a question about da'wah or how to invite or what should I do towards family members. Keep in mind, we always have a table outside our da'wah or Islam information table where we have free information in English and Spanish, translations of the Quran in English and Spanish, and brochures as well. What I would do is, if I was you, always keep some brochures with you at all times. You never know when you get that opportunity to educate someone or introduce someone. If I may just share one thing on a personal note, my little daughter, Maryam, 9 years old, she got her ears pierced before. And so every month she get free ear piercings, right? Or free earrings. So one time when we went, it was beautiful. The clerk there, may Allah guide her, she was very polite, and she saw my 2 sons and they were just kind of playing around with these stuffies. And she just said, you know what, I like to give this to them. She'd give as a gift. So we said, you know what, next time when we go, we want to give her something. And she's like, Baba, we should give her the Quran. And I was like, yeah, we should give her the Quran. So we went in, she was not working there. It was another worker. So I said, you know what, we have it, we should still give it. And so as she was waiting in line, again, 9 years old, once the clerk finished, and then she said, my daughter said, you know what? I want to give something to you, and it's something that will bring you peace and structure, and will really change your life. And it's the Quran. And she just gave it.
Mm.
And then the clerk, she just kind of paused for a second, and she's someone young, but she paused and she said, "You know what? You can tell had a stressful day, huh? I would really love to take this and read it." Like
Mm.
she must have been going through something as well, right? And
Subhanallah.
subhanallah, all thanks and glories to Allah. But what I'm
MashaAllah.
trying to say is, you never know when you have that opportunity, when you can just slide something in. It's how Sheikh Jibreel said, we get so many of these opportunities a day. We should do our best to capitalize on these opportunities for the sake of Allah to introduce someone. So please always carry. I would love it if the whole table is like empty. That means we're doing something, right? Meaning take the brochures, give it to your Uber driver, give it to wherever you're going, right? So we'll leave that outside as well. A little donation box. As you know, this is the month of Ramadan, the month of giving. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, during this time was the most in terms of giving and spending. So please help us if you can. Our program, there's a QR code. You can scan it, or you can just put in whatever you like. And again, all these proceeds go back to your Dawah and New Muslim program. Lastly, just want to recognize a number of people that are joining us for the first time. First, just a big shout out to my man Ali, Brandon Ali, who took his shahada today. So he's literally on like 2 hours, 3 hours, of course. And he is kind enough to bring his son Oliver. Oliver is here as well, and they're matching, mashallah, father and son. It is really good. So welcome to the community, my dear brother. Number two, Jose. Just wanted to welcome Jose as well. Jose is joining us here as well. Sergio as well, the whole crew here. Sergio is joining us. If you can just raise your hand, Sergio. And then, of course, my man Luis. Luis, if you can just raise your hand. I had the honor of speaking to Luis first. So Luis embraced Islam and his 3 years ago, and his mother recently embraced Islam. This was a few weeks ago, right, Luis? Your mother at another mosque, and then somebody from our community was at that mosque, and they said, "Look, you need to go here." So I got on the phone with Luis, and Luis told me, like, "But I have like 10 other people in our area that are converts, and they need support too." I said, "Bring them." And so today, alhamdulillah, he was kind enough to bring Sergio and, of course, Jose as well. And we hope to see the other people from the IE as well. So may Allah reward you.
That's beautiful. Alhamdulillah.
And that goes by extension to everyone. If you're from a different community, again, the shahada is the easy part. It's hard, don't get me wrong, but the follow-up is so much harder. So if you know people from other communities that are just falling through the cracks, our new Muslim brothers and sisters, please grab them in a gentle way, but bring them. This is why we have a full-time service. That's why we have scholarship like Shaykh Jibreel Speight. I mean, if you take all of our imams, our scholars, and put all the years of experience together, collectively, it's amazing. We're so blessed, you know. So just wanted to welcome the brothers here as well. I want to also, those that might be streaming live, Sister Yani. Sister Yani actually she expressed interest in taking the Shahada and wanted to actually come today. And check this out. May Allah reward her. She lives in the LA area, and she had to take probably a bus or two to get here. So she missed the bus, so she couldn't get here. But she had the intention and the drive of trying to come here. So inshallah, if you're watching, Sister Yani, may Allah reward you and bless you, and we will be connecting soon, inshallah, God willing. Next, Sister Crystal. Crystal also embraced Islam last week. She's not here. She was actually going to come, but she got called into work. She's also from the South Bay Harbor area. So just wanted to welcome Sister Crystal as well. Sister Grace as well. Sister Grace was not able to make it, right? Yeah. So Sister Grace was also coming today, but she was not able to make it along with her 2 kids. So may Allah reward her. Sister Stephanie. Stephanie was here, right? Oh, she left. Okay, right. Sister Stephanie was here. So it was, I believe, her first time here as well. So we just wanted to appreciate Sister Stephanie. Sophia, Sister Sophia is here. And so you just raise your hand. Sister Sophia, this is Sophia's first time here as well, right? Perfect. And Sister Sophia was through Sister Megan's Lazwina boutique, right? I just want to give a plug to our dear Sister Megan. Sister Megan is one of our sisters who embraced Islam, and she has a boutique for the sisters for modesty type of clothing called Lazwina Boutique. Sheikh, I think you've probably heard me say this, but through her store, we have a little dawah table there, a little Islam outreach table. So many people have heard about the program just through her table at her store. Like her store is like her clothing store, that's number 2. The first priority for her is a dawah table, which is amazing. So anybody that comes in there, I'm assuming that's what happened there as well, she'll connect them and send them over. So it's an honor, man. So thank you so much, Sophia. And then may I share? Our dear brother Francisco, alhamdulillah, all thanks to Allah. It was yesterday? Yesterday, his brother accepted Islam.
Allahu Akbar.
Yeah. So Francisco expressed Islam some time back, and then they had the event at the Islamic Center of Hawthorne. Hawthorne's in the house as always. It goes through, And so his brother attended, and then at the end of the event, if I'm not mistaken, he embraced Islam as well. So may Allah bless your brother. We hope to see him too. I had the honor of meeting him one time. We had our food distribution. So hope to see him again, inshallah. But again, as you are seeing, so especially in Ramadan, it's just spiking, right? We have like a whole list of people that have reached out to us. So we're doing our best to catch up. So again, please forgive us on other ends if we're kind of delayed on emails or texts. We're doing our best as few people just trying to catch up. But it's an absolute honor and privilege to be able to help and to be doing this together as well. And one thing that Shaykh Jibreel said, and I echo that, is to be part of the community. Please do your best to be part of the community. Take it one step at a time, nice and easy, but especially the fast-breaking meals. If you're the only Muslim in your household, we don't want you to break fast by yourself, by sitting by yourself. Unless that brings you a sense of comfort and peace, you need your alone time, I understand. But as a community, do your best to come with us and break bread with us. It's a lot of fun. We just enjoy and have a good time and just take it one step at a time. So may Allah bless each and every one of you. In closing, Shaykh Jibreel will ask you to just close with a supplication, a dua, if that's okay, and then have everyone help me with the tables and chairs as well. Shaykh Jibreel.
In the name of Allah, the Lord of mercy, the bestower of mercy, we praise you, Allah, and we thank you for everything that you've given us. You are the one that says that you listen and you hear when you are praised. And so we praise you at this moment. Our Lord, give us the good of this life and give us the good of the next life and save us from the torment of the fire. Our Lord, do not deviate our hearts after you have granted us guidance. Bestow upon us your mercy. You are the ever-giving. Our Lord, we have wronged our souls. If you do not have mercy upon us and forgive us, we will be of the losers. We ask you, Ya Allah, to guide our non-Muslim families to Al-Islam. We ask you, Ya Allah, to guide our non-Muslim families to Al-Islam. We ask you, Ya Allah, to guide our non-Muslim families to Al-Islam. We ask you, Ya Allah, to make our feet firm on Islam and that we have truthful tongues. We ask you to protect us from hypocrisy. We ask you, Ya Allah, to accept our Ramadan, accept our fasting, accept our reading of the Quran, accept every good deed that we're trying to do for you. We ask you, Ya Allah, to let us love being a Muslim and let it be beautiful in our hearts. Let us have a hatred in returning to what we used to be. Let us be of the righteous. We ask you that when you take our souls, that we die saying La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. And if you have led us to live, we ask you, let us be your obedient, humble servants until we return to you. We ask you, Ya Allah, to help our brothers and sisters throughout the world who are suffering. We ask you to help our brothers and sisters in the prisons. We ask you, Ya Allah, to help our brothers and sisters wherever they are struggling. We ask you, Ya Allah, to bring the people who are struggling to this mosque and other places, so as they can hear the Quran and hear your name and hear the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. We ask you, Ya Allah, for the highest part of paradise and save us from the torment of the fire. When we die, we ask you, let us to say with all certainty that you are the only one worthy of worship and that Muhammad is your final messenger. Allahumma ameen.
Allah bless you, man. Jazakallah khair. May Allah reward you and bless you. Thank you so much. All right, brothers and sisters, I'll call it a session. We went a little bit longer today, but it was very important for us to do so. But I need everyone's help. As you know, after class, we try to wrap up by tables and chairs. So we have racks on both sides. We need the tables and chairs on the racks, please. And with the chairs, we want to make sure they're not overflowing. So once they hit the level, if we can use the other rack, we will greatly appreciate it. Let's work together, and we can finish up in a few minutes. Thank you so much.